Okay, today's date is December 2nd, 2019. My name is Daniel Bradfield. I'm the oral historian for the Orange County Regional History Center, and I'm with
Thomas Thorsbecken, illustrative journalist.
And today we're interviewing. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Rigoberto Torres, the artist.
All right. This interview is being conducted as a part of our effort to collect interviews with the keeper of the Heritage Art Collective. This interview is being conducted at Mr. Rigoberto Torres' home in Kissimmee, Florida. So to start off, who's the oldest family relative you've ever met?
My grandfather and his side, my great father.
Okay. What do you remember about meeting him?
Well, he was in he was in Puerto Rico. He was like a taxi driver. So he was more or less going around taking people to the plane, you know, airport,
like airport,
airport, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Did he ever share any stories about his early life or what Puerto Rico was like when he was younger or anything like that?
No, not him. My father did.
Okay. So what did your father talk about Puerto Rico? How did he talk about it?
Oh, how he talked about it, the fiesta, the Three Kings, the parade thing. They used to go to town, house to house, and play songs and instrument and sing and you know, break night all night, all morning, all that kind of stuff, you know. Yeah, he's about 80, 81 now, and 82 I would say now. He was he left there and he started working in New York as a highway repairman, you know, tar, that kind of stuff, you know, highway fixing.
So is that why your family moved to New York?
Yeah, that's when they moved into New York, in the Bronx, you know, 138 and Willis Avenue.
Well, what year did they move to New York?
I would say when I was 9, that's a tough one. Way young.
Well, okay, then what year were you born?
1960.
1960.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you remember of Puerto Rico growing up?
The rain, the noise, the kind of musky, wet tree, and you know, hot day. You know, we had no air conditioner, nothing like that. We used to just nothing to, you know, besides going to school and coming back to school like a block, 3 blocks away, walking back and forth. It was the only thing I remember at the moment, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Growing up in those years, what would you, was your family religious?
Oh yeah, 100%. Pentecostal. Yeah.
So what would your family do? Would you go to church on Sundays?
Yeah.
Would you do church stuff during the week? How did it kind of bear out in your life?
Well, I used to wear a little tie, a little suit, and go to church on Sunday. You know, me and my brother, you know, my sister. You know, so it's 5 of us. You know, we used to go every Sunday to church, all dressed up. You know. No, we don't do that much. That's okay.
So how did you first get interested in art?
I was in high school when I was working with my uncle, doing mold making and the process of painting, and through my cousin named Wally, like I said, he was a taxi driver. John, my partner, was working in the Fashion Motor and 148 Enter Avenue. He was there for for at least 6 months or something like that, and he was doing casting of people's faces. I think my cousin introduced me to him. He was a taxi driver. He says, I know a cousin of mine who really is good with his hands, so he introduced me to John, and that's we started working. I used to go to school and then go back to work, helping him, doing this live casting, that kind of getting to know the process and getting to understand the person himself, and getting ideas how to do this work with this neighborhood, and they had problems, but it was nice to meet people and talk to them.
So before you started working with John, you weren't interested in it in school or any of that stuff?
Oh yeah, I was interested in school. I was doing sketches. I was also doing photography. I used to develop my black and white photos. I got some of that.
What stuff did you like to photograph?
Models, kids. They used to use my book, my pictures for the yearbook. That kind of stuff. So I used to do that. So it was nice.
Growing up in New York, what would you do, when you weren't in school? What kind of like extracurricular stuff would you do?
I got involved with the mechanic, helping my uncle Junior, and I learned watching him and doing things for him as a mechanic, and somehow removing the engine and that kind of stuff. So it was something to get into and learn more about it. So that's what I do. That's the way I got involved with that. And I used to ride bicycle and go swimming, spend time in the beach, that kind of stuff. But most of it was just working, learning things, I was working in, like I said, in my uncle's factory, doing religious stuff. I got a page here that you could see.
Yeah, of course. Do you know if I close that door?
Closer, yeah.
Sorry. Thanks.
See? See? Religious, saint, Jesus, that kind of stuff. So this is a guy named Shorty that I met in the factory. And I did a sculpture of him, and now this is stuff that I used to do after school, And I learned how to paint with airbrushes, and it was nice to be getting involved with the color and how to mix them and all this stuff. That's my uncle teach me how to do that. My other uncle teach me how to do the car work, mechanic work, and I met John, and I got involved with that kind of sense about working with my hands and getting involved with people, and I was good at it.
Yeah,
I'm still good at it.
So before you met John, what did you think you were gonna do? Just as like a life thing, working around this factory, be a mechanic. What did you think you were gonna be for like a career?
Well, I was. I wasn't sure what I was going to become, But I put my foot down and I decided to go one direction instead of doing different things. And John kind of helped me out in the sense that he already knew the direction that he wanted to go, so I kind of stick with him and help him out and show him what I know and how I do things, if it was me. See? And while he was doing it in the fashion motor, I mentioned to him that I wanted to take some of the equipment supply and do it in my neighborhood. And then I did a sculpture of my friend named Felix out in the middle of the neighborhood right there. So And John saw that, and then I asked him one of these days, he was living in 10th Street, I said, why you don't come and move to the Bronx for, you know, where I live at? And that was the right thing to do. Since then we've been, you know, working together. So there are things that, then we rented a studio down in Banana Kelly Street, and we had a storefront, and then we did the Jumping Girls, and we did We Are Family, and we did things that is in this book, you know. And throughout the years, we improve ourselves by improving in the technique of casting the person. We used to use those funny straws that used to be pointing out. Then they invented those straws that used to turn up. Then we used to use like kind of a Vaseline, and people used to complain about, hey, this has been going on for 2 weeks, I can't get it off, you know. And then after that, then we had one shirt. Then we decided to, for girls, we decided to use 2 shirts, and the guys 2 shirts. It was easy to cut one off and leave the other one on. So technique got faster. Then we were looking for material that will set quicker on the person's face, and it was nice to be able to get the person out in less than 20 minutes, you know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you're doing somebody for the first time, 20 minutes is a lot, you know? Because you have to set up a table and put 2 straws on the nose, and then put a shower hat. We used to use then shower hats, make up the hair later. And those are the technique that we learned throughout the years, the shower hat, the straws that goes up, shirts. Then we used to like cut them in the back so it'd be easy to come off. The pair pants we used to use, cut them off, you know, they wear little shorts, and then, you know. These are technique that we continue improving throughout the years, so it was kind of nice. And then the painting, John used to like oil paint, I used to like the water paint, you know, that kind of stuff. The acrylic, the lacquer paint, enamel paint, you know. So between, and then I, like Angel said to you, that because of me, I introduced him to my uncle who runs a factory. And I introduced him to the Bronx and this and that, you know, etc., etc. So he's kind of with me together. We kind of went to places, you know.
So when you were first doing it, what was like a first project that you did that really made you interested in it? Do you remember? Like the first thing that you did that you were really interested in it?
There was these 4 girls. We had a project to do 4 little girls jumping rope. Plus we also did, we had all the people too, we had cast. And meeting and getting involved with the neighborhood, it was all kind of black, you know. So we was doing casting of nice black people of the neighborhood, and giving them a cast for themselves and that kind of stuff. And it was kind of nice to be able to take and give back something that they share, you know, take care. So for me, it was I think the expand of the girls and the group of the Dawson Street. Yeah, and the guy with Pedro with the tire. I'll show you a photo later on so you could see. It was kind of nice to be able to go to this neighborhood in the same area, go to another and deal with that, and come in a way to work it out in the same neighborhood, work it different groups. You know, Banana Kelly was one of them. The owner of the building was another one. The girls, Dawson Street, the life and Kelly. All this stuff was great for me, you know. And that's one of the things that I enjoy.
So growing up, what was the Bronx like, or your neighborhood like?
It was kind of rough. A lot of kids got into drugs. A lot of kids got into doing bad things, you know, and I kind of stick to my own thing, and I was hoping not to go the wrong direction, and that's why I went and helped my uncle, my other uncle with Raul, and stuck with John, working that kind of stuff, because doing bad things like drugs and stuff like that I not enjoy. I never did it before, but it's something that is not in me, so I didn't dig it too much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a learning process. I was doing things that I enjoy.
What was the neighborhood mostly other like Puerto Rican?
In the neighborhood, yes, it was Puerto Rican, yes.
So how were like Puerto Ricans like treated in the city, you think? Like what was your experience of it?
Oh, it was good because it was when I was living in 138 in Willis Avenue, it was kind of a lot of people from Puerto Rico that I got to know or lived in across the town that I used to live, and it was easy to deal with them, communicate with them, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and there was other groups that had bad things in their mind, so I didn't stick with them too much.
When you were at home, did your family speak English or Spanish?
My mother and my father, yeah.
Okay, they spoke Spanish?
Spanish, yeah.
Okay.
All the time, yeah.
When you were raising your kids, did you speak Spanish at home?
Yes, and English, all the time. Keep them mixed.
Yeah. Okay. So roughly when did you start working with John?
This book tells you that I was started in 1979.
79. Okay.
79. So, and these are the areas that we have sculptures and studios at.
Oh wow.
See?
Cool.
Yeah. So this is the
It's a really cool map, too.
and this is helps you where the murals. See? Here, and if you go here, see this one here, and you could see me here and John. See, this is I think this is We Are Family. This is another group here. We Are Family. So this is also this is like I said, this is also the Bronx and Walton Avenue. And then we decided that every weekend, like Friday or Saturday, we go outside, we set up we used to have a little window here. We used to, have a studio, and we stick out the table and all that kind of stuff through here, and hang up all these pieces and set up the table, the water through the apartment. So it was kind of nice to be able to be in a neighborhood and be able to do this. Then we had the super who gave us permission to hang stuff. We kind of enjoy that part. And like I said, this is Fashion Motor, see? And this is tells you in the window, it's like a showroom. So we used to have a thing, and we used to have traffic every day when we're doing something around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or 3 o'clock, and people used to stop just to ask questions. How can they get involved or get something done? And this is the technique of getting it done. See, and this is me over here. So, so that was something that, and I was young, and I was just looking for something to do beside, I don't know what that I want to do, but I had good people helping me, I would say. I had uncles, partner, my father who gave me a lot of advice, you know, not to do the wrong thing, you know. So this is the way that you open the gel tray. See the person you elbow here, you take them off. See the elbow, you remove it. When you take it off the person's face, and then you pour the plaster, and then you paint it later on. You open the eyes. The person has the eyes closed. A little extra stuff everywhere, you know. We make up the hair, we make up the color.
So how do you do the eyes since they're closed?
We use we call it an eye opener, a little metal object that we just carve it, you know, it's like a triangle or something. We just go like this and carve it open.
So you mentioned Vaseline in the hair.
Yeah, that was
originally.
In the beginning, yeah, when
Yeah.
we were doing this and people used to get mad at us.
Well, yeah, I mean, because Vaseline's hard to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, so how would you? Because when it's Vaseline, are you molding the hair too?
Yeah. We molding the hair too, you know, and then see the hair is already, we cone it, Vaseline and that kind of stuff. And it used to have a style, wet style, you know.
So how did you switch to doing it? Like, how do you do it now?
Well, now we just use a shower hat.
Oh, you just use a shower.
A shower hat so we don't, the hair will be fluffy.
Okay.
Or we just make up the hair, that kind of stuff. You know?
Oh, okay. So you don't so the hair is like added on basically.
Added at the last minute, you know.
Oh, okay.
See, same thing with like a cigar hair. We add that last. You know?
How do you do facial hair? Where it's the same thing?
It's the same thing. It's just, you know, we just add it with we take the bandages and we just lay it in pieces.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of brush it on or something, cone it, and we keep on doing it until we get the size that we want.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to do that.
Yeah.
And these are the pieces that we used to do in fashion motor. These are these are really tight, really small pieces. See that? So throughout the years, the shoulder was not developed the right way. It was really up to the neck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these things throughout the years got better. We developed it in a sense that this is David who told you that introduced me to John. This is me. Shirley, you know, it goes on like that, you know?
So you have an open mouth?
Yeah, he's
How
got
do you do
open
that?
mouth. Well, the stuff is really made for the mouth. Jerk tray. It's for the dentist, you know, so that he go, oh, and he swallow all that stuff, you know. So, you know, so these are things that we kind of enjoy doing, you know.
So about how long does it take to set?
This is the factory, like I said, the factory. Oh, like I said, the gel tray takes, you've been in a dentist, right?
Yeah.
When they mix the stuff, they go, boom, close, seconds, boom, done.
Okay.
See, it's done. But because we working with the person and we don't know if the person is going to be, you know, we don't want to make the person uncomfortable, nothing like that. So we mix it with more water and then we pour it on. That turns into a minute and a half. Boom, it sets. Then we put the bandages in top. And these are the pieces that we did in the Bronx, all over the whole Bronx. So these are my first 3 pieces that I did when I was working with John. This is me. This is me also. So that's what happened. So these are people in fashion motor, you know, neighborhood, you know, that kind of stuff. So
the time that you were doing this project in the Bronx, how was the Bronx changing while you were doing this?
It was changing a lot. There was next to the fashion motor, there was people doing, you know, dope and that kind of stuff, and you know, So all that kind of went away, you know, slowly. You know, there was stores developing. There was stores going down and stores going up, and people, you know, finding work and that kind of stuff. So it was they were kind of pushing the people out, you know.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. So, this is also in the 80s. This is the studio that John had. See? And I just, like I said, we used to have a studio in the same building, and he used to have, you know, meet everybody like when we go out and perform, you know. So it was kind of nice to be able to be in the same neighborhood and do it. But then from there we moved. We went further out. See? These are my cousin. This is a guy here, got. So, Baby and David, they're wild kids. Not no more. Yeah. These are collectors who have pieces in their home. Yeah. And
So how do you plan, like, some of the action scenes that you have? You know, like we had a couple where you saw, like, you know, a mother and son walking across, like, the street holding a grocery bag, or like you had a picture of people like playing, 5 or 6 people playing basketball. Like, how do you plan out those kind of like scenes?
we kind of take a lot of Polaroid
Okay.
and freeze them in time. If we are watching the kids on the basketball, they have to play the basketball. At the same time, we just we take the Polaroid, we take photos, and we do a lot of that, and then we figure who's doing what position he's going to be in, that kind of stuff, so we could take it from there. And to be able to have each one of those kids, you know, pose in a sense that makes sense to us, so it takes a lot of give and take. Like we have to deal with the parents, and we have to get the kids to hold the pose for a little longer time than we should, you know. It's kind of like we put the table and we put them down. We make them kind of comfortable. Like if they're having the leg wide split, we wanna, or the ball like this, so we wanna put a lot of cushion and pillows and make sure that they got the ball, like, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of setting up, and that takes kind of a longer time than like maybe half an hour to do all that work from start to finish. Just the body part. If you're doing a person standing, then you have to be able to support the person from the leg down or hip up, you know what I mean? Put sticks on it, and they better be holding something, you know. So it's a way to make them comfortable enough they're not gonna fall down, or, you know, shift or something like that. They're gonna mess up the mold, you know. So that's the idea. Takes time.
Yeah.
Setting up, making sure. Sometimes they get cranky, especially little kids. Okay, next we do somebody else. That's the idea.
In the early years that you were doing that, is there like a big memorable story of like a, you know, a big project that you did that you'd like to share? Like maybe like the first multi-stage thing that you hung. Like how did you do that?
Well, these are this is the it was here the first piece that we hang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See? And we had to build scaffold because it was from the ground up, and it was like in the third. But when we doing it in the 5-story building, then we need some bench scaffold coming from top down. We have to paint the building. We have to make sure we're drilling the right way, that the nails, the screw is not going to fall down. So it's not easy.
No, doesn't sound it.
And to be, I got a cassette that is me working in the scaffold, and I'm on the other side. So.
How do you guys decide on the scapes that you're gonna do? You know, so like, you know, of the people standing there, or let's say kids playing basketball. How do you decide to do those like different?
It all depends. The money.
Okay.
What is like I said, in Brazil we did the bus, right? Mm-hmm. The guy had plenty of money. He says, I want something big for that big wall there. Mm-hmm. See, he had 2 walls, and it was amazing that he says he wants something on both walls. You know, money was not an option. It's just, of course, if you got the money, anything is up for grab, right?
So that's actually a good transition. How did you start doing them outside of the U.S.? Like, what was the first one that you did outside of the U.S.?
The first one that I did outside U.S., it was down with down Rotterdam. There was a director. I don't remember his name now, but in the With the museum there, he says, "Why you don't take what you learn in the Bronx and do it in Rotterdam, you know, in Europe, do it over there." We spent a month and we did a bunch of pieces. I show you, it's a thing there somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's something that we started with that one, and then from there on, the things went, you know, okay, you know. We needed a place to do the work. We needed a place to, you know, rest our head, you know. So all of that was given to us, you know. We needed the folks who was going to work with, and there was an art school, there was a neighborhood, there was everything was there. So it was easy for us to make it happen, you know, and hang it too. Same thing that you see here, we did it over there. So it was a kind of cool, you know. And since then, we just kept on getting greedy and making it more, you know. As long the money is there and they want something, you know. And that was, we also learned throughout the years that the different kind of rubber to make molds of these things. There was a rubber that sets quicker on you. Like latex takes forever to set on you. And so the mold making process, and because we knew how to do all of that, so we worked together doing the person. Then we split the work by, I go do something else, I do the mold making, I do carving, whatever it is. While I'm doing the carving or making the mold, John is painting somebody over there. When he finishes, I go paint something else, you know. So the idea to share the work as much as possible, and to if we got a month to do it, like we did to Brazil, took about 2 years traveling back and forth. Yeah, we had a guy named Fuba, and he was learning how to do molds and all that stuff, and we kind of took it out, you know, we kind of help him out, teach him even more for us, you know. So he did great. He's a great guy, and he worked for Indochine, and he's great. He's got his family there living, so that's a good thing about it, you know.
How did these interested you know, art collectors contact you to do these projects?
Through the time, there's the gallery set up something, and the gallery apply for something for us. When you have a gallery who's willing to go out of their way and apply for you without you knowing it, you know what I mean? Then that makes it easier for you to, you know what I mean? Not to get your hopes up, and then at the last minute you go, guess what? You got a job. You got this to do, you know? So that's what it's all about, when you got a person who's willing to go out of his way to help you. To help themselves also, you know?
Yeah.
Because they want to, as long as you keep going up, they go up too, you know? That's what it's all about. You know, getting somebody to, and they collect, you could say 50% of whatever you make. So that's worth it. Do you want something shipped? They got it. You want something done? You want a show in a gallery? You want a group show? You want a solo show? They get it. They make it done. You know, make it happen for you. And sometimes you do it yourself on the side. You know. Right now, I don't have a gallery here. See, I'm doing everything myself. But my partner has the gallery in New York, and through him, I got the gallery. I mean, in New York. You know. So I do show my stuff there. Like the Airman right now, he's in New York, you know, that kind of stuff. So we get things done. I do it my way, he does it his way, and you know, I get sometime the museum to do something. They call you, and they're like the Polk County Museum. They say, I want to be able to have your show here. Can you do it? You know, they find yourself. They find the, you know, maybe through newspaper or something they saw, and they wanna, or maybe through the collectors, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's a way to you to accomplish whatever they have in mind to help them out and show your stuff. You know.
Do you prefer having a gallery or working on your own?
A gallery is. I think I do have something with a gallery, but right now when I'm dealing with over here, when I'm dealing with because I have nobody here, so I have to. If I'm shipping something, I have to do it myself. I mean, if it's here, see, if the gallery calls me up and say I want to ship something to California. They have it here, they come and pick it up and they ship it themselves, you know. But it works both ways, you know. If I'm doing something here, I don't mind going and packing it and putting it up myself. I do all this myself, you know. So it's something that I enjoy, you know. Now I could sit here, meditate with my friends and family and talk to them, you know. They don't talk back, they don't eat, they don't bother me, you know. So it'd be okay, you know. I done so many that I lost count, you know what I mean? And a lot that I gave away too, you know, to make ends meet in a sense that you know, they're happy, you happy, you know, that kind of stuff. And they're happy when they carry their own piece home, you know. They go, man, this is great stuff, you know. I'm never gonna have this again, you know. There've been a lot of accident, like they tip them, break them, scratch them, whatever it is, and they bring them back and we touch them up, you know. And sometimes we like to make a deal, you know. We make another one and we keep the old one. It all depends. It all depends, you know. And sometimes you get to do nice thing for. I was doing a project down in Puerto Rico, and I got involved with this husband whose wife was pregnant. You saw the belly one that I have over there. And his wife says, do you do any belly stomach thing? I say, yes, I do it, you know, but that's your wife? She said, that's my wife, and she's driving me nuts, and can you do this cast? And we don't do that, because that's not what we do, you know. So, but there is stuff like that we do on the side just to satisfy the person, you know what I mean? For the husband, we did something good, you know, I did something good. for the lady, it was the biggest thing that happened to her, you know. She put her hand here, her daughter put her hand on the other side, and it was great, you know. The belly is done, they're off my back, that's it, it's great. But you have to do things that you know you're not going to get nothing out of it, you know, but you're doing it because it's the right thing to do, you know. That's what this is all about, you know.
And also, like, you're working with, like, community.
Yeah.
So that means, you know, some people are going to ask you things, and you just kind of, you got to roll with it sometimes.
Yeah, you got to roll it. And it's amazing because the more you do, the more they want. And the other thing that I want to say, that when you're doing this in the street, in the open area, you get these kids who've seen it for months and months and months, right? Mm-hmm. And then go in and say, you know, it's been 6 months and it's time for me to get involved with this, to do it. And they want to know when you're going to do it, you know? And you cannot say no. You got to say, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Why not? So it's a good feeling, you know, when they go after you. When they go after you and they want it done badly, they want you to do this, and because it's not longer you going after them, they're going after you, or they're ready to do it, and you know, that kind of stuff. And there was a time, John did a boy, was Thomas, he was 5 years old. I wanted to top him, so I did my daughter 2 years old. See what I mean? So I wanted to do somebody younger, and you know, so I went younger. So I go around trying to do things to improve myself, to top who I am, you know.
You've done a lot of your own family. Is there a specific reason why?
Well, these are the one that I kept, but there's a lot of other pieces that are not family, you know. Mm-hmm. These are the family that I kept, you know. Like this guy here, Ramon Valdez, who's the president for Puerto Rican Day Parade, you know. Okay. He's not family, he's just that I met him and I wanted him to let me show Ruth Fernandez in the parade. The lady in dressed in black, you know. So he gave me a float. So he said, do your thing. Here you go. Decorate it. You know, so there's way of doing things to improve yourself, you know, to go after, and I did a guy named with a guitar, and Joe Cuba with a conga, and you know, and these are not family, but you know, consider anybody who had done their family, and that's it. They become my new family. You know?
So why did you decide to leave New York and move to Orlando?
It was a rough thing that I had to do, for the fact is that I ended in the emergency room kind of because of my asthma. I was living in 100th Street, and next in the project. There was a bus stop there, and the bus stop was kind of polluting the air, whatever it is, you know, that kind of stuff. And my asthma was acting wild and out of control, and I ended in the emergency room kind of complaining. I passed out twice. They intubated me. So that was I mean, it's okay if I say that, no? If you want to know why I'm here, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason why I'm here. I pass out and I wake up, and I was complaining that I had a headache, and I pass out again, and I was complaining that I was blind. And they put me in the MRI, the whole thing. They put me in the PET scan, where the machine divides, cut down your brain into section. So they find out the blood clot was in the back of my head that causes the eyes to see. And I was I only had one seizure during the time, you know, one seizure. that kind of threw me off completely. I forgot, my memory was erased, you know. So it was kind of a mystery for me to relearn the whole thing and how to paint and do things. And this book here helped me a lot in the hospital because they used this book to show the psychiatrists and the doctors that I was important, I was somebody. I am who they say here, you know? And if I was somebody who's, I figure if I was somebody who was nobody, I think they push me to the side and leave me there, you know what I mean? That was kind of a shame because I was blind. They used to bring my food. I used to not eat it because I would not see it. And finally at the end they put patient is blind, you know, and, you can see. Mosana Hospital, that was the whole thing, and that was the reason why I moved here. The asthma acted up again. I got intubated twice with a balloon. So I came here for the warm weather.
Did that make it better?
That made it better, yes. That made it better. I'm okay, I'm living okay. I'm happy, but I don't have the, see, from here, we used to travel. I used to travel from here. Like if I'm gonna go to Brazil, I go from here to Miami and I met my partner in Miami, and from there we go to Brazil. Same thing. So from here I go places, you know, so all the galleries call me up and from here I go to New York, like that, and you know, that kind of stuff. We got a studio in New York and it's kind of a big one. A storage area, studio, that kind of stuff. But that's what really, it brought me here because my wife got nervous and I lost my memory, and my memory was when I came back, my psychiatrist Snyder says, "What's your name?" And I said 1.8. 1.8 means that I did a crate, but I'm 5'8" height. Mm-hmm. So I did a show down in Spain, you know, so I did a crate for Spain, you know, that I sent over there, you know, and I did a show down there, but I had it all mixed, you know, and I didn't know nobody, so I had to relearn everybody, his name and who's who and things like that. Who's my kids, you know. You know, the only thing that I kept forgetting, really hard forgetting, people who I owe money to. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I picked that one. I picked that one. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
If only you could selectively forget that part.
Yeah.
You know, who you owe and how much. It'd be great. Great. I feel like you're just walking through life on clouds then.
Yeah. And then I decided to, when I moved down here, there was a thing that what happened here was that this house was my mother. Mm-hmm. I paid for it. And she had breast cancer and they only gave her 6 months to live. So she died in New York, and then the house was alone and nobody was here, and then I moved down here. And because everything was under my name, so I decided to make it my own, you know, so I went through a lot of rough time, that's all.
So what did you think of Central Florida when you moved down here first?
When I moved down here it was hard. It was empty.
Yeah.
It was nobody. It was only this house and another house over there and another house, that's it, nothing else. Land, that's all. Nothing here. No store, in the storefront in the front, nothing there, no.
Wow.
And it was one row. You know, that's it. Not the rope, the double rope, the, you know, highway like that, no. It was one. It was something, it was so lonely. It was so lonely. It was like, wow, how I'm gonna change this thing, you know? Then I decided to go on my own, and I decided to see if I could speak to people and do it myself. And I was going to school, doing my little demonstration, getting to know people, and there was a group of 75 teachers down in Tampa, and I went and did a little demonstration for them, and I got to know people, and they got to know people, and they were working with the Orlando Museum, and they got back and forth, and it was great, you know. And those are the things that binds everybody together, you know. So-and-so knows somebody from over there, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. And then when they knew that Norma Ross and Bill Ross bought a sculpture of mine in 1979. Think about it. So they go, what? You mean the collector who owns or runs the place? So, yeah, you know that? Yeah, I know that person, yeah. She went to New York through the gallery, she bought it. That's it, that was the idea. It's good, great.
How did you adapt to having to drive a car everywhere? Because I imagine, living in the Bronx, like you could probably take mass transit or the bus or something. But
well, the thing about traveling is hard. It's hard because you cannot travel without a car,
yeah.
and for me, I need a lot of supply. I buy supply and I load up my van, my truck, and I go places, you know. But in New York, when you have your own studio and you have to still take the train, and still you're not gonna carry 200 or 300 pounds of plaster on the train, so you have to, you know, somehow get a friend, or my partner had a truck, and we used to go and buy like 500 pound or 400 pound plaster, hachiko, you know, that kind of stuff, supply, all the stuff like that. And then we used to come bring it up, you know, to the studio. It was the only way to do it. You park right in the same neighborhood, you know. It was good.
so why would you do the like the public? You'd like lay out the plaster or lay out somebody and do the massive stuff in public. Why did you guys decide to do that instead of like inside of your studio?
We used to well. As you noticed in the beginning, we used to have this big glass. It's kind of easier because we find out throughout the time to explain to each one of them how it's done. If they are seeing the whole process done, they will not ask you how it's done. You know, they'll go ask you other questions like when I'm gonna get done, or when it's my turn, or when you're gonna have it finished, or I could see it, that kind of stuff, But it is good to be able to do things out in the open, so there's no funny business. You know what I mean? And you get a lot of people involved. That's what I like about it. People seeing this for years, and they go, I've been watching you for 3-4 years already, and I think I would like you guys to do one of mine. So you go, okay, no problem, let's do it. It's less explaining somehow. It's less. And sometime when they watch it and you keep doing it and out in the open, like in Brazil, when we did this in Brazil or Europe or whatever it is, after you do one or twice or 3 times, you don't need to act, you don't need to explain nothing. It's done. It's so self, explain itself. What, dude, I want one done. I'm next. Something like that. It's great. I mean, I got no problem with that. It's easy not to. If you get a group of kids Now you're getting involved with something that, you need the parents' help. If you're doing something in school, they don't want you to, be in touch with kids or whatever it is, or you need the parents' signature in a letter, that kind of stuff, And then some of the kids go, but mom, my mother, she did not sign it and I want to get it done. You know what I mean? You get kids who, and you go, no, I cannot do that because you needed to bring a signed letter, That's one of the things that happens all the time, and it's great, because when they're fighting, they go, wait, I want to get it done, do it.
Have you done any of those events locally?
Yes.
Okay.
In the school. Sometimes when I'm doing a show, I do a live cast, Mm-hmm. And you need to do it. You need to show how it's done, including the crown of hands. And it does explain a lot, and you don't need to say too much. The process, the technique. I find out that the people do also the PR talking for you. See, after that they go, oh, don't worry about it, and let me explain to you how it happened. And they go on, they say, first they lay this thing on, then after that they lay the other part on, then they lift you up after 20 minutes, and they do all this for you, so that's what it's all about, One person sees it, then that person is going to explain it to the other person. By the time you know it, somebody says something nice, all the way down the neighborhood, And that's what it's all about, getting it spread in a nice way.
So where have you done them locally? You said at a school. Which school?
The Crayola?
Yeah, Creole, yeah.
Yeah, I done it there.
Okay.
I done it there. School in Ponciana High School.
Okay.
The 70 in what is it? 70. What is it? I said 75 teachers, but that was in Tampa.
Oh, okay.
I done it over here. I go when something is going on that is good. I like the idea of doing it. So it's something that I enjoy. Even if I open doors up in a sense that people will appreciate it, why not do it?
That's true.
Yeah.
So what when you do the live casts, what's kind of the work after casting it? What's the process afterwards of doing the painting and things like that? Like, how long does it take to go from like a live cast mold to say like a completed piece?
Well, as you notice, it's just white, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all white. So, see, when it's like this, after we take it out, an hour later, we have to make up the hair, remove some of the extra stuff that we don't need, sand it down here and there, whatever it is we need to open the eyes. Takes us about an hour, 2 hours to have it done. It depends on the size of the sculpture, And then after that, we push it to the side. We give it like another 2 to 3 days to set, to dry. So before we put paint on it, acrylic, At the same time, we also have other work that we're doing. So we are fixing other pieces. And fixing one, we move it to the side, we do this. So after we've done all of that, we sand it down, we put it together and attach it, whatever it is. Then we just go and set up for painting. Take out all the painting, take out, the buckets, whatever it is for the water. And we do the painting. It might take us about a week. 2 days. If it's one piece, you could say a week later it's done, because you gotta let it set for 3 days and then paint it. Done. See, but we're doing other pieces, and it doesn't matter how long it takes.
Yeah.
It's gonna get done no matter what.
Yeah.
the longer it sets on you, you can continue working on other pieces that you've done. Sanding, scraping, cleaning, getting ready for the painting, all that stuff, you know. While you setting it up and all that, this piece is getting done, you know. And that's what this all about.
Yeah.
Time. Time will tell everything. It'll just go on.
So for something like, how long did the Ruth Fernandez bust take?
I did a face cast with her. She had no hair, no nothing like that. But because I did the whole body, I could add the other half easy.
Mm-hmm.
See, I had a mold.
Oh, okay.
See, I had a mold and I just did the whole thing, you know. And this one here doesn't have shine on it like the other one. Mm-hmm. This one is not a clear. This is simple. I didn't put no shine on it, no clear. Mm-hmm. You know, I just left it matte, you know, so you could look at it better. And I give it a little lighter tone, you know.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
But you get it done, you get it done, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, most of the folks that we do, it's just a way, they make it easier for you. Somehow they're ready, somehow it's easy. They make it easier that they just lie there for you and they just, you know, you could let them, they could mix the stuff too, put it on the face. Yeah, it's a good thing about it. Wow. I am enjoying it anyhow.
Yeah. So, what are, when you were you working with John like full time, or did you have another job while you were doing this work?
When I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I had another job.
And then gradually you just shifted to that being full time?
Yeah, shifted to this job, you know, mm-hmm. That's what I did. You know.
About how long did that take?
About 6-7 months, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was working during the nighttime in a pizza shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then down in Manhattan, and then from there, I was working in a liquor store, also Uncle Tito liquor store. Mm-hmm. Then I decided to go full time on this thing, you know, that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. And then you've been full time ever since?
Yeah. At the same time with all my problems.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we talked a lot of pieces about like favorite pieces and things like that. Is there anything else that you didn't mention that you'd like to talk about? Any pieces that you've done? Just that you'd like to talk about or have a story with or anything?
Well, there's a lot. So much.
Yeah, I mean, 40 plus years of doing it. Yeah, I mean, like...
You remember Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse? Mm-hmm. We did a sculpture of him.
Really?
Yeah, we did a sculpture of him, and there's
was
a photo.
When he was running for president? Or?
Yeah, when he was running for president,
wow.
Yes, long time, way long time ago. Mm-hmm. We did a sculpture of him doing this, you know, like, hey, like
yeah.
So it was great, you know.
Yeah.
We did him. I did also Tito Trinidad, a boxer.
Yeah.
From Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
I did him too. You know, we did a sculpture of him. These are, you know, Joe Motoro, the guitar guy, the 10-string guitar guy, Joe Motoro. That's also in the Orlando Museum.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, owned by me, still owned by me, so it's still there, you know. So the thing about it is that piece, I consider that piece with the 3 boys, the 3 girls, the Rufinande, the Joe Motoro, the Joe Cuba, those pieces I got a photo of here. They're like in that curtain and all that stuff. They belong together. You know, it's like a nice piece to keep together, not to separate them. So,
were you? I know you were living here at the time, but did you and John do any work with like 9/11 memorial stuff after the attack?
No, I did the fireman, but did it before that time.
Okay. Okay.
The fireman, the rescue, I call it the rescue.
Mhm.
That was way before the 9/11.
Okay.
That was also my daughter.
Oh, in the
And
the sculpture.
In the sculpture, yeah.
Mhm.
I got 3 daughters, so those are my 2 boys and 3 girls.
When were your kids born?
Well, I'm still living with one of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, 80s, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Throughout the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, you know, my oldest, she don't live here, but she's Annie, they call her Annie. Anne Marie, Jessica and Erica, and then there's Julio, and then there's Jose, you know, so those are 2 kids, boys. So if anything that you think I should have, that I should put, that you should picture, like, see, if you take a thing of that double image, it will explain what happened to me.
Yeah.
See, when I'm that seeing, what do you mean he's talking about the hospital? He was seeing double and that kind of stuff. So they will say, hey, this is what happened to me. You know, so being blind is not a joke. You know, I was 100% blind, so it was rough for me, you know, to be able to. My mother came to visit me, and she says, "I'm your mother," and I said, "Who?" You know, that bad, you know. I also have a spine problem. I got 6 screws in my back.
Yeah.
So that's, and I'm not happy enough, so I do this thing. You know? I'm not suffering enough somehow. You know?
How long were you blind for?
It took me about 6 months being blind. I was had my pupil checked by neurologists, doctors, and all that stuff, and they were doing this.
Couldn't see anything.
Yeah. I only had 1 seizure. They threw me off completely, and headaches every day. For 7 years, I was taking my medication, and then somehow I was after. I was about a year, I started seeing a little peephole, you know? And then I started doing this, from this to this, and it went like this, and then it went like this. And then one day, I was doing this, and it stopped. Seizures stopped. So.
During that time, were you working at all, or you couldn't?
Yes, I was working. I did the project, I did Melissa, I did a couple stuff, and I was doing work with my partner, and he was helping me a lot. And she noticed there's this doctor here. That's me.
Oh.
So I got involved with the doctors, and I learned, and I did a sculpture, and I painted, and I went through a difficult learning process, but I came back, you know. So I had good family, good kids who sat down and explained who's who and pictures why like this, and they helped me put my mind together, you know. So imagine losing yourself and finding yourself all over again, you know.
Yeah. So what? Well, one, were you here for the Pulse shooting of 2016?
Yes.
Did you do any pieces or anything, or have a story related to the Pulse shooting that you'd like to share?
No, they didn't, I didn't want to get involved with that, you know. But I have other pieces that is, you know, couples. They're not here, they're in New York, you know.
Okay.
I do have pieces that you know, female to female, that kind of stuff, you know.
Gay couples, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that kind of stuff. So,
Do you have any family that, still lives in Puerto Rico?
yes, my father's side,
Did they,
sisters and brothers and all that stuff. Yeah.
do you still go visit them occasionally?
My father went a couple of a week ago. He just back. A couple 2-3 days ago, he came back and he was with his sisters and other sisters and brothers, and they're like 4 or 5 of them. And my aunt has an old timer. My father has an old timer, so that's running in the family. So
It's gotta be tough for him to travel then.
no, he's got his wife, you know.
Oh, okay.
He's got a wife. My mother passed away, so
Okay.
he's got another wife. So
Okay.
that's what the deal is, you know.
Were any of them affected by the hurricane in the
Yeah,
Maria?
they did. Lost roof and that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, but nobody died or?
No, nobody died. You know. Water damage, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Cement rip off. It's amazing, right?
Yeah. Do you have any relatives that were involved in like the protest movement in Puerto Rico? A couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, but
A couple months
I don't know if they did win or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know they involved, but I don't know if they did win, you know.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Do you have any questions? I was gonna ask a couple, like, wrap up. Okay. So what would you say is like your process, like your artistic process?
At the moment is getting to expand my friendship to the people, to let them know that they're safe with me and I'm also safe for them, and we could become family if we kind of work together and deal with each other and do something nice, you know. That makes sense to me, you know.
Okay. Over the time that you've lived here, how has the arts changed in Central Florida?
At the moment, I don't see a change unless I'm changing it. So that's the way, you know. I mean, I go out there and I do things, you know. So it's like I said, I done shows. I had on the downtown City Hall, I did a project in Rockaway Art Center there, student, you know, some kids, some old ladies, you know, black ladies, that kind of stuff. And I got involved with that, and I did a project for the museum, for them, you know. They got me involved. They say, "Yeah, I like what you do. Can you do it?" That kind of stuff. So, I mean, I go out there and it's something they like about what I do. So, and it helps them to put it on paper. They did something good and they raised some more money and that kind of stuff. So it's okay. If I could help, why not? Yeah.
So how did you get involved with the Keepers of the Heritage group?
I went, somehow there was a guy named who was working there. He gave me a call. He don't work there no more. He got sick, heart attack or something. And he was calling me and I said, sure, I would like to do this, you know. I think he saw my work somewhere and I got to meet everybody. So I went and I said, okay, I could pack the room, no problem. I rented a truck I developed it. I went and I hanged it myself, and I did everything. You know, I kind of like the idea of making sure that it's done the right way. You know, making sure that the sheetrock is not gonna collapse. So it's good stuff. You know.
What do you think the future of the group is?
Of this future, well, Angel has a good sense of things, but I think he needs to expand in different direction. I mentioned to him that perhaps raising money in something, because he's talking about, he had a group a long time ago, and I don't know how many guys were together, and they kind of separated, or float away, or whatever it is. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to raise the money, or make something for somebody gonna pay for something, that kind of stuff. But if money is tight, then you do raffles and things like that. You go out there and you do things that the people appreciate it, Besides, I got some folks who I could push, and they could do things for me, But we need to raise something, do something that they will make the money that you need for the shipping that we're gonna do, in Puerto Rico, He says that we're gonna, I'm willing to do the work, if somebody pay for the supply, But at the same time, make raffle and make the money that you need for something, for the work that we need. Working as a barbershop person is not, there's no money there, but the things that I've done, museum bought, gallery bought, collectors bought, things like that. So if I'm doing something like I did in Polk County, the collector that I own over there, they were trying to raise money to pay for this somebody else to get cash. Guess what? They did it themselves, and they bought their own piece themselves, So it was good, I said, well, no problem, Just let me do the job. You collect it, and voila, done. It's in good collection.
What work were you doing in Polk County?
I was doing the same thing here at Polk County Museum. I did a whole 75 pieces. Show you. It was here. It was a whole sheet of. I did a. There you go.
Thank you.
Check the other side.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
I did a show there, and they made a big deal out of it, and they just wanted more. And they, you get the IV, you give them more.
Okay.
So these are things. I know I've been. And imagine coming from New York on your own truck like that, is coming here to do all this job. 75 pieces, 72 pieces, big, small, all that kind of stuff. It's not kidding. They go, wow, you're not, I filled the whole museum there.
So have you done any other work with the Polk County Museum?
Yeah, well, my collector lives around there. And they bought some pieces and they lend it to museum. That's one of the things they do. Then, right now, the Ruf Hernandez, that one, the Polk County bought it and they lend it to the Orlando Museum, and they got it. Plus the The Mermaid, they got it also. See, they bought it here, they shipped it on there.
Yeah.
More storage. Easy to do it.
So, is there anything else you feel like we didn't talk about that you'd like to talk about?
Well, at the moment, no, I don't think so. But if I no, I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, leave it at that.
Okay. So the last question that I always ask everybody is, so this interview is going to be stored in our archive forever.
Yes.
So if you could leave a message for somebody who's listening to this or watching this in 20, 30, 50, 100 years, what would your message be?
I think the message will be that if you have an idea, don't think it twice, just do it. Go out of your way, accomplish it. Don't hesitate to do something with it. I could tell you these things because I did collapse a couple times, and I'm up again, and I'm fighting until God decided to take me. But no way, I ain't going down. I'm going down fighting, and for me, I would say is that it makes you feel good when you notice that you accomplished something somehow. After too many problems that I've been having, it just, wait a minute, I've done this before, I accomplished this before, and it's great, it's good, and I go home and I tell my wife, and my wife says, yeah, I heard that before, but I didn't doing it for the first time. I know, but it's good. It makes me feel happy that I'm doing it, you know, that I'm doing it with me, with myself. So when I go to bed, I feel like I accomplished something good today, not tomorrow, today, and I feel solid, you know, that's it. I pat myself on the back and go to bed after that. Thank you.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything?
No.
Okay. Tom? You good?
Great.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to turn everything off.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.